Hi there, I'm Jen Kelly, founder and CEO of New Initiatives Marketing. I'm also one of the fractional CMOs at the company.
Hi, and I'm Nicole Crozier, and I'm a fractional CMO. And today we're going to be asking the question, do I need a fractional CMO or a marketing agency? And this is a question that we get quite a bit, and it seems like people don't really understand exactly what the differences are and when to hire each. And so what we're going to do on our call today is we're going to walk through exactly what a fractional CMO is and what they do, the two types of fractional CMOs, and then we're going to look at what a marketing agency is and how it might be a bit different. Which comes first, a marketing agency or a fractional CMO? When is it ideal to engage a fractional CMO versus engaging a marketing agency? And then we'll look at what a typical fractional CMO engagement would look like. All right, so let's start by talking about what a fractional CMO is. So Jen, how would you describe a fractional CMO?
A fractional CMO is a chief marketing officer that is working for your company on a contract or part-time basis. So they're not your full-time employee, but I want you to think that they bring all of the wisdom and experience of a chief marketing officer, but you're either renting or contracting out specific pieces of their time to help your business with the strategy and the leadership around the marketing in your company.
Hmm. Right. So bringing on a fractional chief marketing officer is really similar to hiring a senior marketing leader for your organization, whether you're considering hiring a CMO or maybe a vice president of marketing or a director of marketing. A fractional CMO does that job, but just for a fraction of the time, and therefore also a fraction of the cost. And what's unique about a fractional CMO versus maybe looking at an agency to bring in or a marketing consultant is that your fractional CMO has already been a senior marketing leader in an organization like yours before. So they've come up the ranks in a B2B company, if you're a B2B company looking for someone with that experience. And so they've experienced what it's like to work in an organization like yours, and they're used to dealing with other leaders, so sales leaders, customer success leaders, product CEOs, and things like that.
Yeah, and that's really important to have there because as you go up the ranks into the leadership positions, it's not so much being focused on exactly the marketing. It's understanding the different forces within the company, different priorities within the company, how marketing can either help or sometimes get sidetracked. And so the marketing leader needs to be aware of some of those dynamics that can go on
Mm-hmm.
and be able to adjust accordingly. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more than just, I guess, time in the saddle of just marketing, but really understanding the broader dynamics around the business needs within the company.
Exactly, exactly. And so that also means that fractional CMOs can advise the senior leadership team in a similar way that bringing on a full-time CMO would be able to do. And they could advise on things like strategy, but also on hiring. So if you do move forward and you want to hire different positions, a fractional CMO can be a great guide in terms of hiring and also recommending what other types of resources that you may need around marketing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And typically, that's a good point to bring up because most companies that would hire in or contract out, when we say hire, I hope people don't get the feeling that you hire in a fractional CMO as an employee, but I gotta get a better word for that. But the thing is, oftentimes what would happen is a company that doesn't have an in-house marketing department, few or nobody is taking care of marketing within that company. They bring in a fractional CMO. They can see like after time, they can see what marketing has contributed to their company. They decide this is too important for us. We want this in-house now. How do we start, hiring
Mhm.
in to build out our own in-house marketing team? And just like you said, that's one place where a fractional CMO, some of them can very much help out.
Right, exactly, exactly. And one thing that's important to mention is there tends to be two types of fractional CMOs. The first type is kind of an independent consultant who is engaged by an organization on a part-time basis as a senior marketing leader. And then if things need to be implemented in the company, they have to go out and find resources to do that. So the fractional CMO as an independent consultant tends to be a guide and a leader who can set the strategy and guide the company. But then when marketing stuff actually has to be done, they have to go out and find those resources to do that and manage those resources. Then the other type is a fractional CMO who has also gathered together an outsourced marketing team. So this is a group of people that the fractional CMO has already developed great relationships with, has worked with in the past on projects, and is kind of a ready to go team to pull from when it's time to implement the strategy or execute on marketing tactics.
Absolutely. And the neat thing about that is that if you choose the latter, so the fractional CMO with marketing team, what's neat about that is that marketing strategy can get rapidly implemented. And you're working with a team, a well-oiled team that is very much used to working together and used to working with other clients. And so from the client side, you don't have to feel like a guinea pig. You're not being tried out to, how is this freelancer doing? How's that other consultant doing? This is a tried and true team that comes in and can really focus on getting the work done for you pretty rapidly.
Yeah, exactly. And so what is a marketing agency then? And how is a marketing agency different from a fractional CMO?
A marketing agency is different from a fractional CMO in that marketing agency. So marketing agency, marketing company, an external company that is hired by other companies in order to do their marketing. The thing that seems to be missing in the understanding of that is that even though the marketing agency is full of experts working on and everything from strategy down the way through execution, analytics, they may have a specialty. They may specialize in video. They may specialize in PPC. And that's the kind of thing, as you wade into finding a marketing agency, you as the client need to know what are you looking for, because there can be marketing agencies that specialize in one particular thing, such as video. Let's just use that as an example. And there are other marketing agencies that go right down from strategy all the way to execution. There's also other ones that focus on brand only, brand development, and there's others that focus specifically on certain industries. So as a client, you need to know what you are looking for. And if there isn't the in-house expertise on marketing, what to look for, how to bring one in, you could very well choose a marketing agency that isn't a right fit for you and therefore feel disappointed and then feel that marketing doesn't really work for you when that's not the case. It's a bit of a complicated buy. The other thing that we have found that is the assumption that once a marketing agency is hired, they're just going to figure it out. They're just going to be able to solve our problems, come back to us with, some marketing stuff. And I don't mean to be like rough around the edges about this, but that really is the assumption. Okay, we've hired you, figure out what we need to do for marketing. And even the very brightest, the very, customer service focused, client focused marketing agency is still going to need some direction, is still going to need to understand a lot of the business goals, the dynamics of your company, what the future holds for where the business wants to go in order to really put together something that can help them within marketing.
To me, when I think of the difference between a fractional CMO and a marketing agency, what comes most to mind is that the fractional CMO is someone with real industry leadership experience who can come into your company, understand your business goals, set the strategy, and then know where everything fits together and guide the ship. A marketing agency, on the other hand, tends to specialize in one or more marketing tactics. And so they don't tend to be the company that would come in and help you set the strategy and understand your business. A marketing agency would specialize in, like you said, creating your brand once they understand your marketing strategy, which is guided by your marketing leader. Or they would specialize in website or graphic design or content marketing or something similar. And so when it comes to, which one do you need first or when do you need each? Usually or actually always, it's essential to have a marketing leader in place first, whether that's a fractional CMO or you've hired in-house, because you need someone to set the strategy and then guide the marketing agency and manage the marketing agency ongoing to make sure that they're staying in line with the strategy. If you bring in a marketing agency first, like you said, Jen, they're not going to know what your strategy is, and they're going to have to make a bunch of guesses. And so that means that whatever they create in terms of the tactics may not actually be in line with your business needs. And if there's no one guiding the ship, the marketing agency is just going to go on what they're used to doing based on other companies, and what they do may not actually be what's ideal for your company. But once you do bring on a fractional CMO, then that's when you can engage a marketing agency, because they can execute on certain tactics for your strategy.
So, and you would do this, you would engage, if we go with this scenario of fractional CMO, the CMO is tasked with hiring the marketing agency. That would be one scenario. That would be the scenario where the fractional CMO came in as the consultant without their own, marketing team to execute. Is that fair? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
or if the fractional CMO did come in with the marketing team, sometimes there's like a super specialized area that you would still engage a marketing agency for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the leadership and the years of experience come in, because that marketing leader, the fractional CMO, many of them that we are aware of have, built up their career within marketing. So really do understand what it takes at certain levels. And with many of the tactics involved in marketing, what comes in where, what is needed for which strategy to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to see, we've got this team, we've got this hole here, not necessarily a hole either. I mean, there's so much going on within marketing, and within every tactic, it's getting more and more specialized, like the amount of information that the marketing person has to deal with, but also too the responsibility on the analytics, the responsibility on how it fits in with the other tactics that are being used. So it's even a wonder, you can't do it all even with an agency, right? So
that's right.
But you still need the one person coordinating it all, the one, the conductor, if you will, being your fractional CMO.
Exactly. And another main difference, I think, between a fractional CMO and a marketing agency is that the fractional CMO takes a look at the business needs overall and then recommends the marketing strategies and tactics that will best fit to meet those business needs. Whereas a marketing agency is going to approach it from a tactical basis. And so whatever tactic area they're focused on, that's going to be their frame of reference. And so if you engage a marketing agency without a strategy first, what's going to happen is they're going to recommend that you do whatever it is that they specialize in. And so you may not be getting that big picture and the right marketing tactics for what you need. You may just be getting whatever it is that the marketing agency prefers to work in. And so that's another thing to keep in mind.
That's right. Or it's their specialty, or they know it best, or they feel that it works the best, and they're all in on that. And that it's just a different approach. There's nothing wrong with that. So for example, if one agency is all in on video and, long form, short form, you got to do video. We can both get behind that for sure, but that is not a replacement for your strategy. So again, it's not like there's anything wrong with that, but it's up to you as the client to understand that you really do need the strategy, and then you pull in the specialist to help make that strategy happen.
Exactly. So then when is it an ideal time for a B2B organization to bring on a fractional CMO?
An ideal, well, there's some ideal times. So if I mean, the companies that we work with have been established for a few years now. So they are a going concern. They have their product or their service out in the market. They have had some either remarkable success or growing success with it. And they may start to notice that things are starting to stall or plateau. So their
Hmm.
sales are starting to plateau for no reason. There's no changes in the marketplace. There's no necessarily changes in the demand for their product or service, but they're just noticing that the revenue is starting to get flat. They may also start to notice from the sales team that they're starting to get more pushback on the price,
Hmm.
competing on price. They may start to notice that their customers are expressing a lack of differentiation. Why are we paying for you when we can go down the street and get ABC? And so those are a couple of warning bells where it's like, maybe it's time to engage marketing, because if we're fighting on price now and we don't have any differentiation, those can be a couple of telltale signs that it's time to start looking for some marketing help.
Hmm.
Is there any I missed?
Yeah, so I would say just at a high level that the ideal time to engage a fractional CMO is whenever you start to think, I need to hire someone for marketing.
Hmm.
So you could be thinking that you want to hire a product marketing manager, you need to hire just a general marketing manager, or just get a marketing resource in-house. That's a sign that you probably need to engage with a senior marketing leader, such as a CMO first. And so like you said, Jen, it's when we tend to work with companies, they are at a certain stage. And usually it's when they've, built up, some momentum, some revenue, primarily on sales-led initiatives and have a great sales organization in place. And they've probably had like ad hoc marketing agencies here and there doing little bits of things. So maybe they've engaged an agency to do some CMO or sorry, some SEO on their website or make some content for them or develop an ebook or something similar. And over time, that can become a little messy or sporadic. And all of a sudden you realize, you know what, we need to bring someone in-house to manage all this marketing. That's usually one of the first signs. And one of the mistakes that we see made is the company will hire more of a junior marketing person to come in. And so the junior marketing person can, gather things together and to a certain extent, but what they can't do is set your marketing strategy. And so instead of hiring a junior person, we recommend starting with a fractional CMO first.
That's the thing. Let me just play devil's advocate for you,
Sure.
to you here. What if the client is thinking, you know what? I mean, do we really need a senior leader in this role? Don't we just need, maybe a newsletter that gets out, maybe a little bit on social? Like, do we need a full-blown strategy? If they're thinking that, what are some of the things that you might say in rebuttal to that?
Mm-hmm. I would say that if you're just thinking you need a single tactic and you don't have a marketing strategy, then you have no idea if that's the right tactic for your company or not, or if it's going to work, or if it's connected to anything else. And so if you just go ahead with an ad hoc strategy or sorry, an ad hoc tactic here or there, that's not connected to an overall strategy, you could be spending money on things or and time on things that may not be effective at all.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You could spend 2, 3 months on this email newsletter only to find out, oh, it's either a lot more work than
Mhm.
we thought it was. We thought it was going to be, a quick fix, or that for whatever reason your audience is not responding to it so
Mhm.
well. That's 2, 3, that's a whole quarter gone. Whereas many fractional CMOs can come in and get a strategy done within 60 to 90 days.
Mhm.
And you'd have immense clarity on what to do next and a whole series of different tactics that would work for your company based on the research done. So it really is important, and it really isn't
Mhm.
overkill to invite the senior thinker in to create the strategy, and then you just have so much more clarity on where to go, what to do, and then, how to get those tactics executed. It's a great point.
Right. And that's why a fractional CMO is such a great opportunity for some smaller B2B firms. So say you're in that $3 to $10 million range, and bringing on a full-time CMO is a huge investment. The fractional nature of the fractional CMO offering enables you to access that senior leadership when you need it without the full cost of a CMO. So you don't have to make that huge investment, but you do get to access the expertise and the strategy expertise that you need.
Yeah, great point.
Mm-hmm. And so let's flip that around then. So when is it ideal to engage a marketing agency?
Once our recommendation is once the strategy is set and approved, and you can see, so you as a client can see the different marketing tactics that have been recommended in the strategy, and those tactics are helping the strategy move forward, and that strategy is helping your whole business goals come together from a marketing point of view. So marketing has to be in there to support the business goals, not on its own in a silo. So at that point in time, so let's give a couple of different scenarios here. Let's say the strategy is complete. The fractional CMO does not come with the team. Now would be the time to give the green light on, okay, based on these, there's 6 tactics that were approved and really go to support the strategy. Now the fractional CMO can go and pull in the marketing agency that specializes the best in those 6 tactics, and then can get the help there. And what's great about that is now the marketing agency has a strategy that they can get their teeth into, and has the marketing leader to guide. And that marketing leader is really a conduit between what's going on with the business, what's kind of speak business speak marketing speak, and make sure that they can get the best work out of that agency for the client company. That would be one of the best ways.
Right. So in summary, the ideal time to engage a marketing agency is when you already have a senior marketing leader in place, like a fractional CMO or similar. You have a marketing strategy in place, and you know the tactics that you need to put in place to execute on that strategy. And then you can find the marketing agency that's best suited to execute on that. And that's Absolutely. If you don't go with the option of a fractional CMO that comes with a marketing team already ready to go, because oftentimes they can execute on most tactics without having to engage in marketing agencies, except in like some very, very specialized situations.
Absolutely. And typically those fractional CMO services, or the program that come with a marketing team, or that they say they have a marketing team to execute, everything suggested in that strategy can be done by the marketing team. And then, of course, there are exceptions. So if we think what could be an exception could be, say, for example, video, I was going to say video editing, photography, perhaps some skill like that isn't needed every single day, yet still is needed for the execution of the strategy. That may be one example of where an external marketing agency specializing in video would be brought in. So that's an example of that.
Exactly. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about what a fractional CMO is versus a marketing agency and when to use each, what does a typical fractional CMO engagement look like? And so when your fractional CMO comes on board, what they will typically do initially is really get to know the business and start looking at your strategy and your systems and what's going on. And so in the first 30 to 60 days, they'll focus on creating your marketing strategy and talking to your clients and your partners and your internal teams to really get to know them and really understand the true customer needs and wants. And then once that strategy is created, they will start implementing the strategy. And so you might already have a bit of a marketing system in place, but they will make sure that you get the right technologies and tools that are all connected and working together, and have that all implemented. And along the way, this would all have been thought out and discussed with other internal teams. So your fractional CMO would make sure everything's connected to sales systems and customer service systems and success and product and things like that. And
Yeah.
then at the same time, they'd be starting to execute on some of the recommended strategies, whether that's lead generation or lead conversion, content, whatever it may be, as part of your ongoing marketing to bring in and convert customers.
The fractional CMO typically comes into a situation where there isn't the senior marketing leader. There oftentimes isn't a marketing department or even a team doing anything to do with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Frequently, the client does see this, this is really valuable. Actually, we want to build everything in-house. So with certain fractional CMOs and their team, they either can help with their recruitment,
Mm-hmm.
and or as you decide and hire in, as you start to build your in-house marketing team, the fractional CMO and marketing team can train that new person and hand off that piece of work and slowly back away so that your in-house team is up and running, ready to go. And then, they're off to another client. So if you're thinking about doing that, if you think, oh no, what would I do if I wanted in-house? Absolutely. Let
Mm-hmm.
your fractional CMO and team help do the great handoff because you've already got this great machine going. Let's hand off to the new folks and then let them take over.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then in terms of communication, your fractional CMO would be meeting with the CEO on a regular basis to talk about strategy and how things are going with marketing, which is really a great opportunity to have some flexibility in there because sometimes things come up on the business side that weren't expected. And so your fractional CMO can make some adjustments to the strategy or execution of tactics based on that. And then sometimes companies already have a couple of junior marketing people in place. And so your fractional CMO can help manage or guide those resources as well. And if the fractional CMO comes with an outsourced marketing team, that fractional CMO manages that team. So no one in your organization has to worry about taking care of all of that. And that's the other thing with the marketing agency that I think we didn't mention before is if you don't have a senior marketing leader in place, then someone in the organization has to manage the marketing agency. And that often falls to either the VP of sales or the CEO.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then managing on that means, making sure that the deadlines are met, redirecting if something is coming in that's not quite on point. And to anyone that's managing an external vendor, I mean, it's not an easy task, and it's not something to be taken lightly, right? That vendor
Right.
wants to perform for you, and needs some significant attention in order to do so.
Exactly. And so why don't we just finish up with just a couple other scenarios of where a fractional CMO would be really helpful to an organization. So we talked about the scenario where, an organization has reached a certain size and now it's time to bring on marketing resources, and that's an ideal time. But there are other times that it might be ideal to bring on a fractional CMO as well. Sometimes, for example, you do have a senior marketing leader in place, but they're a little bit overwhelmed and they're really focused on getting all this stuff executed, and they don't have time to take another look at strategy. So that's where a third party, such as a fractional CMO, could be really helpful in coming in and doing a little bit of a reboot on a strategy, maybe interview the clients, get some key insights from the team, do an audit of what's working and not working, marketing wise, messaging wise, and really be like a strategic support for the in-house CMO or in-house marketing leader.
Another avenue that could happen with that. Sometimes we refer to them as the lone wolf. So they're supposed to be getting everything done. Some fractional CMOs that come with a team actually can have that fractional team be that lone wolf's marketing team. And the neat thing about that is, well, let's just say there's a CMO or a VP of marketing in place in-house, and that is the lone wolf expected to get everything done. Partnering with actually a fractional CMO company that has the team is really great in this way. because that fractional CMO on I guess the agency side in this point of view is essentially your peer. It's understanding what kind of strategy that you might be wrestling with, what kind of pitfalls might be happening within marketing, how to get the team aligned to support that in-house person. And it can really take a lot of weight off because that in-house lone wolf doesn't have to manage the team. They've got a peer that they're working through, knowing that they're the ones managing the team, and it's just all getting done. So that's another way to look at it, as almost fractional marketing team supporting your senior leader. So that could be another option for sure.
Right. And what a huge benefit to that lone wolf marketing leader, because like you said, it's nice to be able to talk to a peer. You know they understand your strategy, and you can trust that they can manage the marketing team. So you don't have to manage a whole bunch of different people yourself, which could take up so much time and energy. Right. And then the final area where a fractional CMO could be really useful is when you need to develop a strategy and execute on a specific campaign. So marketing campaigns in and of themselves are like mini marketing strategies. And so you could have a situation where the company has a CMO or a leader in place. They may have a marketing team as well, but all of them are tapped out. There's no more resources to be able to execute on a special marketing campaign. And so that's another great opportunity to bring in a fractional CMO, because you can talk again at that peer level. They can understand your marketing strategy overall, and then recommend a campaign strategy to work and then execute on that, especially if they have that outsourced marketing team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a couple of examples of that, a new product launch, going into a new region. So it can absolutely be, those things are usually time sensitive for sure. And if your existing marketing team is at capacity, bring in the experts to help.
So in summary then, a fractional CMO is a great opportunity for small to mid-sized B2B companies who don't have the resources to hire a full-time CMO and complete marketing team, and can now access that senior marketing leadership they really need to set the strategy and guide the ship. Some fractional CMOs work alone and then have to hire and manage agencies or other people to get the tactics done. Other fractional CMOs have already developed an outsourced marketing team, and they can kind of become that instant team you need to execute on everything. Agencies versus fractional CMOs, it's important to have your senior marketing leader first, whether that's a fractional CMO or an in-house hire, and then marketing agencies specialize in tactical areas, so you bring them in after you've set the strategy. And then fractional CMOs can be brought in for a variety of different reasons: to manage your marketing overall, to guide you and advise you in decisions, hiring or otherwise, or to augment a lone wolf CMO or marketing leader, or execute on a specific campaign. And I'm just going to add in one final note here. A final note is, if you're deciding between a fractional CMO and a chief marketing officer in-house hire, what we often find is that it's actually a better decision to go with a fractional CMO first, because once you bring that fractional CMO in, there's no risk. You're not hiring full-time in-house, and you can see how it is to work with a senior marketing leader. The strategy can get set. You have some benchmarks along the way, and it actually gives you more information as to who would be that ideal full-time hire. So you get more information, and then when it comes time to do the in-house hire, you're hiring the right person, and you feel more confident about that decision. So I find that a fractional CMO is a great first hire.